Welcome to Not From Here, a podcast dedicated to past versions of ourselves
and the current versions of all of you. We are your co-hosts. I'm Riley Klauza.
And I am Isa Rodriguez. And we are just a couple of Michiganders turned New Yorkers trying to get a grip.
Have you ever been made fun of for the way you say things or thought, damn, I never even realized I had an accent?
Well, we have too, because we're definitely not from here.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hello.
Hey.
Who do we have with us today?
Hey, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Jesse Lynn Harte.
Oh,
Hi,
my
Jesse Lynn
God.
Harte.
I'm so excited to be here.
We are so happy to have you.
Very excited that you're here today. We are fans of your TikTok. Obviously, just like fans of you in general because you're an actress and you're like doing the damn
Oh
thing.
my God.
So we're so happy that you're here. Excited to learn so much more about you.
Let's do it. Let's
Yeah.
dive in. So, Jesse Lynn, who is she? Where are you originally from?
Okay, I'm originally from a wicked small town in New Hampshire, like
Oh.
teeny tiny, like no stoplights, no streetlights, no restaurants.
Oh my God.
Except there was one called Ye Old Post.
Oh, yeah.
The old has an E. That's how
Ye.
like Ye Old Post. OLDE. And then yeah, like one blinking light, more cows than people kind of a town. That's
Yeah.
where I'm from. Live free or die, baby. That's what we say in New
Wow.
Hampshire. And we mean it.
I love that. I was
Yeah.
just going to ask if like off the top of your head, if you knew the population.
Of my town?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
No, you're like,
No.
it's not even.
But
She's
my
like, I left and never
school-
looked back.
Like I went to a school that was like pre-K through 8th grade, and I graduated with like 70 something kids
Okay.
in class. So
Yeah.
So
So
tiny.
it's small.
It's
Yeah.
small.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So how did you get into theater? Like, what about that town? Like, how did you
Okay.
So
how did you get in
true.
there?
Have you guys seen the trend on TikTok right now that's like, I wanted to take karate, but my mom made me go to dance. Now when a robber comes in, like I'm just gonna have to dance them away. Have you seen
Yeah.
that?
Yes.
Okay, I'm genuinely shocked by those because I feel like I don't know if I trust it. Like there was nothing in me that wanted to do anything else. There was no other
Oh
option.
my God.
Like I wasn't
love
ever interested in really pursuing any. I mean, I did like every sport that you could do. I had like a, variety of things that I was interested in, but there was no other path. Like from birth.
that. The only thing that made sense.
Yeah, I kind of came out of the womb like
A star.
Doing a time step.
yeah,
Picturing
literally
it.
a time step from the womb. So yeah, there was no other option. But I mean, I started dance classes and stuff when I was really little, and then an older guy who knew my family, he was like, "You got to get this gal in theater,"
She's got the X factor.
Yeah.
Why is there always an old man? Like,
His name was Dick.
Oh,
it was Dick.
It was.
That makes sense. For
I
Dick.
think about him all the time. Yeah.
Without him, where would you be?
You really owe it to Dick, actually, without him.
And I've always said that.
Oh my God. So were your parents or like were they involved in the arts at all, or they were just like, yeah, we'll sign her up?
Not
Oh my
at
God.
all.
So
like
it was like a whole different world for them.
yeah, I mean, well, my dad is an actor in his own right, meaning that he's just a ham. Like he just is a performer, but in a different kind of way.
I
Like,
love that.
he just is always I mean, he will get up on stage and do anything. And if he wants there to be audience participation in every musical that I do. It's like he thinks that the show is actually about him. And my mom always says that she would have had the solo in her 4th grade production of Godspell.
So
She
true.
would have sang Day by Day
Mhm.
if she didn't go skiing. So that's kind of her claim to fame. Like she skipped rehearsal to go skiing. I'm like, Mom, that's kind of on you.
Yeah.
Like
Priorities.
talk about professionalism. Like
day by day.
yeah. So no, and neither of my siblings do theater
Oh my
really
God.
either. They're both musical. They played instruments, but
Okay.
no, it's just me.
Are you the youngest, oldest, middle?
What's your guess?
Okay, I'm an only child, so I have like literally no idea.
Okay.
But I want to say youngest.
Do you have a guess?
Middle.
I'm middle.
Ugh.
And I have
Knew it.
severe middle child syndrome.
Okay.
Severe.
See, like I
Life
missed that.
threatening.
Life-threatening.
It is
Life
like
threatening.
it
You're
runs
like,
through my
all
bones.
eyes on me right now.
One,
Yeah,
two,
because
three.
The problem is like with the oldest child, I feel like parents are like so attentive to them
Mm-hmm.
because they're like the first, and then
Yeah.
the last is like the baby, and then the middle is like, hello,
I'm right here.
look at me, pay attention to me.
Triple time step this time.
Yeah.
I love that.
Okay, so I have to ask, how
Yeah.
was the college audition process for you? Did you have a college audition process?
Yes, it was hell.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
What do you mean? It was terrible. I can't even like sugarcoat that. It was really bad.
Thank God.
It was really brutal, and I tell kids that I love to work with kids, and
Mhm.
I work at a theater where they often have teens and they're like pre-professional
Wow.
training, and
Mhm.
I mean I was one of those teens, and I just took it so seriously. Like everything I did was to get into a top school.
Yeah.
Everything I did was like, I have to get into one of the best musical theater colleges in the country. And I mean, it like killed me when I didn't get into my dream school.
Mhm.
And
Ugh.
yeah. I would cry about it until I was like 20 years old. Like it is still crazy to me that I let it affect me that much.
Yeah.
But no, it was brutal. And everything happens for a reason, I guess. But if I were to do it over again, I would do some things differently for sure.
Oh.
What about you guys?
Ooh, yeah, it sucked. Also, that's so real. You just said, like, I can't believe how long I let it impact me. Like, me literally being like, fuck, I still think about my dream school. And I'm
No,
like,
literally.
What if?
why
What if?
didn't you
Yeah.
let me in?
Yeah. What was your dream school?
University of Michigan.
Of course.
We're from Michigan.
Yeah.
So
They
it's
only
like,
take one girl and one guy from Michigan a year
Oh my
because they want the
God.
out of state tuition.
Yeah.
And so like odds were low. I didn't even apply.
dude, odds
Okay.
were low, but you know how they really got me? They did this thing where, like, right towards the end, they sent me an email, and like other people too. Like, it was like 50 or 55 people, and they were like, "You're in the select group." of,
What
like,
the hell?
final people that we're considering. And so I was like, "Oh shit! Like, this is my time. Like, I'm the girl from
You're like,
Michigan
no, I
that they're
got
picking."
selected. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they didn't even like, then you see the picture of the girl on Instagram that's like, I just got accepted into like the University of Michigan BFA program 2021. And you're like, wow, I would have known by now because she's posting a whole
Yeah.
thing.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
So true.
What was your dream
Ugh.
school?
I'm in pain. I'm in
Yeah,
pain.
no. It was like, whoa. See, 24 still fucking like,
Yeah. Mine was CCM.
okay, yes.
Yeah.
Very CCM. I
Yep.
was an intense kid. I just was
That's
so
so real.
intense. And I would have thrived in the intensity of it.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, I was on hold for them and like waitlisted, and I didn't know what to do. I wish, like, looking back, that I had followed up and tried again, but I was like paralyzed with fear about it. And I also was just like, I'm getting in here.
Yeah.
Like, I am getting in. There's no other
Yeah.
option. Like, it's happening.
And when they
so-
throw you those bones of like, oh, you're on hold. Oh, you're on the wait list. You're like, no, like it's going to happen.
yeah.
Like it's happening for me.
Yeah.
Like they wouldn't keep me around this long
If
if it
it
wasn't.
wasn't-
Yeah.
yeah.
And you're like 17. You're like, what's going on?
Yeah.
I have a lot of empathy for my 17-year-old self now for the way that I handled that, like, that whole time of my life. I feel so bad for her, and I just want to like give that girl a hug and be like, you tried so hard and you did everything that you could, everything that you knew at the time. Like, I feel like I used all of the tools that were available to me, and like looking back, there's nothing else that I could have done that I knew to do.
Yeah.
You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah. Exactly.
Wow, that is really great. I really resonate. I'm like, damn, that younger self, she needs a hug.
She does.
She needs a hug. She tried really hard, and I don't know that she would be proud of where I am now. Like, I don't know, but I'm proud of her.
Yes.
So true.
So where did you end up going when you like didn't find out or when you didn't get into your dream school? Where did that lead you?
I got into Emerson College early. I went there, and I definitely had a chip on my shoulder going into it.
Mm.
And yeah,
And yeah.
And
End of sentence.
yeah, I ended up loving my time there.
Okay.
It took a couple years for me to figure out my path. I did not graduate with a degree in musical theater, which, looking back, is like
Oh my God.
that's crazy, girl.
craziest thing to me. That I just like it. it was like the end of the world at that time
Mhm.
that I like had to move programs and
Yeah.
couldn't be in the musical theater studio. Like it was like I don't know who I am anymore. And I did more musical theater than I did in the musical theater program once I switched. And I do more musical theater now than a lot of kids that
Yeah.
I graduated with, if not any of them. Like, it just doesn't matter. Looking back, it doesn't matter, but it mattered so much to me at the time.
Yeah.
And so when I see kids that are auditioning now and like working towards that, I just want to be like, take a breath because I know that, truthfully, yeah, if you go to UMich, if you go to CCM or Carnegie, like your chances are better. But if you go somewhere else, your chances are not none.
Yes.
Like
Mhm.
my perception was if I don't go to those schools, I will not be successful and I will not be happy.
Yes.
And that's not true.
Yeah.
Correct.
But it took me a long time to know that. I just want to be like, if you're auditioning, take a breath. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna
Yeah.
be fine.
Yeah, you're gonna end up exactly where you need to be. And I had like the same. I went to a very, very tiny, tiny, tiny school in
What school?
Ohio, the University of Findlay. It wasn't. It was
Never
a
heard
BA.
of it.
Go
like-
Oilers.
huh? Go Oilers!
Oilers!
Yeah,
Oilers!
Oilers! It was just like the smallest program, and I also went into college with a chip on my shoulder, and I was like, I'm transferring. Like, I'm not staying here. I was not meant to be here. Like, this was just my where I am for now.
Like this
and
was
then
a mistake almost.
No, yeah, and then
You're
I
like
stayed.
not connecting.
I stayed all 4 years, loved it, and I'm like, I am so happy with where I am now
Yeah.
and like the experience that I got, even though it was the tiniest fucking program that I was
Yeah.
like never even considering.
right.
Yeah, I like totally agree with that. It was exactly what I needed it to be by the time that I graduated. Like there were so many
Yes.
things that I
Oh my
wouldn't
God,
have been
I
able to do or wouldn't have like had the exposure to if I went into a conservatory program. Like I wouldn't have taken playwriting and dramaturgy and gotten to choreograph things and gotten to host an award show that kind of like, at the time I felt like it like changed my life. And like I graduated early and I got to do a Boston equity contract while I was in school. Like
Wow.
so all those things I wouldn't have been able to do if I had not gone to Emerson. And so I really appreciate that. But you're right, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so all of this in mind, how'd
Yeah.
you get to New York?
Okay, so I think you could tell by my last little monologue, I was like kind of like a go-getter, but like also kind of a brat. Like I was just like, I'm doing it and nothing's gonna stop me now. If I'm gonna have to make my own path, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
So be it. So I ended up taking a bunch of summer classes and graduating a semester early so that I could get to New York for audition
Oh
season.
my God.
And so I moved here with no roommates, no friends, no job. Like I found an apartment on Facebook Marketplace, moved in with one person and then it didn't work out. So I moved in with a 34-year-old art consultant. I still don't know what she does. And started auditioning.
It's always the art consultant.
Always.
Yeah, I
What
don't-
does that mean?
To this day, I'm not sure. But she was really nice and her apartment was adorable and I got to like
And she
have
gave
a
you a
s-
place to be. Yeah.
yeah, like I had like a sweet little home that I brought my cat with me and I started auditioning and so like my full-time job was just auditioning for the first few
Oh my
months.
God.
Wow.
Yeah.
How was the transition for you? Was it tough or were you just like so
ready.
in for the ride?
Definitely the second
Oh,
one.
okay.
Yeah.
Like there was no transition for me at all. I can't explain it, but like I mean, when I grew up in the teeny tiny town, I'm
Yeah.
not from here.
Heck yeah, you aren't.
I tried to run away to New York when I was like 5. So I packed a bag and I was like, I'm going to New York City.
She knew.
Yeah, I mean, I lived in a cul-de-sac like 20 minutes driving from the nearest highway. Like I wasn't going anywhere. But
Yeah.
but yeah, I was just like, oh, I'm going all in. I'm going all in. And I definitely had the privilege of being able to audition and figure that stuff out,
Yeah.
really like dive in really quick.
Mhm.
And not have to worry as much about like being completely cut off from my parents because I was like, I'm graduating a semester early, so they kind of gave me like
Yeah.
a few months to figure myself
You're like,
out
I'm
and
still a
help.
student.
Yeah, yeah, and so it really worked out in that way, and if you have the opportunity to kind of dive in, I feel like that's the best way to do New York. If
Absolutely.
you try and
yeah.
if you try and make it like your casual regular life, like it's never going to be like that. Like it's never going to be like it was in Michigan or New Hampshire.
Yeah.
You just have to be like, this is New York now. It's a different game.
Ugh,
Oh my God,
it
totally.
really is a different game. When did you start getting stressed out? You were like auditioning and auditioning and auditioning, and like were things happening quickly for you, or were things like taking a pause? Like, did that ever like culminate to become like stressful or like, oh my gosh, like,
I think it was different pre-pandemic
okay,
because I mean, this was like January of 2017.
okay,
And so I didn't know to be stressed yet. I didn't know when it was audition season, like when things were slowing down. Like I knew that it was slowing down, but I wasn't like scared.
right,
And now I'm scared.
okay,
Like now in my like I it's that thing of like you're too naive to know
right,
to be
Yeah.
like, oh, it's not gonna happen for
Totally.
me. But then as it goes, like I went to an open call with like 500 girls and I got a job like out of nowhere at this like equity theater with all these Broadway stars in the show, and I was like, beep boop, I just sang gimme gimme. You're like I had no idea. I was just too young to know that that was like a big deal and that like it doesn't really happen, and that it was like to get that kind of job at the very last week of audition season. You know, now I would know, and I'm stressed. It's not even December,
You're
and I'm
I
like,
know too much now.
I know too much.
such an interesting perspective. Thanks for sharing that. That's like very
Do you know what I mean? Though?
Yes,
Like,
no, I do.
completely.
Like
You're
I
like,
don't
this-
feel jaded now, but I feel informed
yes,
to a point where I feel fear.
Yeah.
I had no fear. It's like when you learn to drive a car and you drive recklessly.
yes,
Yeah.
That's me when I moved to the city. Reckless.
Ooh.
Reckless abandon.
Okay, I
Ooh.
love that. Yeah, see, I feel like the pandemic, you brought it up. I feel like that's such a good point. Like I feel like I was the opposite. I was like, "Oh my god, like how?" You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's barely an audition here, there's barely an audition there. But that's such a good point. You just like really hit the ground running. Like
Yeah.
you were like
Good time.
nothing is stopping
Mhm.
Jesse Lynn Harte.
Yeah. No, which is so funny because I see it now, like with the next generation.
So true.
right.
I see it now and I'm like, oh my God, I'm afraid of you all. Like, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of you.
I'm afraid of you.
Yeah.
It makes me think, and we're going to talk about it a little bit later, but when you went to the Little Women open call and like interviewed. Obsessed.
That was such
Obsessed.
a great
You're
little
like,
segue.
I see you all. but
Yeah. Thoughts
I
and
feel-
prayers. Thoughts and
I'm here
prayers.
with you, but not actually.
No.
You did kind of already tell us what makes you not from here. But is there anything else that you would just like when you think about like yourself, where you're from, like what makes you like not from here? Like,
Okay.
in this city.
Something else on your list there. I know you had written there. I have a New York City native boyfriend. And let me tell you, they are not well. They are not okay. It shocks me every day the way that I'm like, I am not from here. Because the way he is so clinically from here is shocking. Like, he is not fazed by anything. He's not fazed by anyone. Nothing could make him be like, wow, that's crazy. Nothing at all. Like, when I first moved here, I went to a party, like a cast party after the show closed. That one with like, you know, the big deal people that I didn't realize was
Yeah.
a big deal. And I went to this guy's apartment, and he had lived in this apartment for like 30 years or something. And he was like, he had worn the gypsy robe on Broadway. Like, he was like a
Oh.
big deal. Like, he was in every
Yeah.
ensemble on Broadway, and he was this
Wow.
older guy. And I went to his apartment, and I brought him the cheapest bottle, maybe the second cheapest bottle of wine
Yeah,
that I could
right.
get at the liquor store. And he literally was like, oh, thanks. And then as I was leaving, he handed it back to me and said, I think you might need this more than me, darling. And
What?
yes, it was because it was so cheap, and like his apartment was so nice, and I was so young, and he goes, I think you might need this more than me, darling. And I was like, wow, thank you. And I left the party, and let me tell you, I was wearing open-toed sandal strappy Crocs, and a rat ran over my foot. And I was holding the bottle of wine that was given back to me, and I literally just like stood there. And it was facing you know the one on 43rd Street, the strip club?
Yes.
Flash Dance? You're familiar?
Yes.
It was across from that. So I was facing the strip club holding this cheap bottle of wine. A rat runs over my foot. I was like, wow, I am not from here.
Yeah.
I am not from here.
That was the moment.
That was the real moment. But now every day, like the way my boyfriend like will chase a cab with a baguette, being like, "Hey, what are you doing? Get out of here!" Like,
You're like, that's not something that I would have thought
no.
to
And
do.
they're so cold. Like he's quite level-headed, but just can't be fazed by anything. And like I'm fazed by everything. I will stop on the street and sign any petition that is in front of me.
Yeah.
Any single one. And he would never.
He would never.
Yeah.
He just walks
It's
right
just
by.
like-
He like doesn't even feel bad.
No, he won't even speak. He won't even open his mouth. And I'll just be like, I'm so sorry. I can't. Okay. Like, I'm sorry.
I'm in a rush.
I gotta get to.
Yeah.
They don't care. They
No.
literally don't care.
No.
They're like,
What about you guys? Have you ever come across a New Yorker,
Yeah.
born
Yes.
and raised?
My first like real job in the city, I was a barista for a year and a half. And like most of my friends from that job are like native New Yorkers, like born and raised Bronx, born and raised Queens.
Okay.
Like they are so funny. The biggest thing, do you know what slap happy means? Like
When
to
you're,
be
like,
slap
silly?
happy? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so one day at work, I was like, I'm slap happy. And they were like, what did you just say? And I was like, I'm slap happy. And they were like, what is that? Like, is that some Michigan thing? And I was
no,
like,
it's a very common
it's
phrase,
a very
actually.
common phrase. And it was literally the guy from Queens and the guy from the Bronx. They looked at me like I was crazy. And they were like, no, we've never heard that. Like, is it like punch drunk? And I was like, what? How does that
No, it's
make
because
sense?
none of them have ever been slap happy. They're too cold and
Because-
too jaded to ever be slap
So
happy.
true.
I've never seen a New Yorker slap happy.
That
is so
That is such a good point. You hear that? That's why. You've never experienced
You've
real
never
silliness
experienced joy like that. And I mean that.
from the bottom of my heart. My warm
And
New
I'll
Hampshire
say that
heart.
with my full chest.
Yeah. What about you, Riley? Any good not from here stories?
No, so right now, I didn't have the same experience like with coworkers at least because I was a nanny and had no coworkers. But now I do have coworkers and they are all native New Yorkers. I love them to death, but they're
Yeah.
the scariest people I know. Like so the Starbucks I work at in particular, and I'm sure they all have their days, but a lot of homeless people come in and steal stuff like every single day, like multiple times a day. And the way they scream at these people, like it is like terrifying. I am like so like I'm like, oh my God, I would never want to like do them wrong. They would kill me. They would kill
Yeah.
me. Like I
Yeah.
would like they'd break me in half.
You're like,
Yeah.
But no, they're just like they know themselves so well, and they're just like so like I don't even know.
You're
I
like,
don't
Different
I
kind
can
of
deal with
confidence
this.
in themselves.
yeah, like I'm like
that
I
don't
don't. I'm like
have.
I think I'm a like decently confident person. I will never be that confident.
No.
Yeah,
No.
ever.
so true. Wow. Legally Blonde. We want to hear all about it.
No, literally everything.
Tell us,
I would say
please,
that's
please.
where I like first like on TikTok. You came on my For You page
Oh,
with
yeah.
your Legally Blonde videos. So that was like
Okay.
my introduction to you. But like, please tell us every detail. We're
Okay.
dying.
So like from audition, well, as much as you want to share, to like when you first got there,
Okay.
to like how was the experience?
Okay. I don't even know if we have the time. You're like,
I know.
it was quite the journey. That's the truth. It was a long journey to get the job because I talked about this a little bit, but like on my social medias, but I auditioned for some iteration of the Legally Blonde tour like 4 times.
Yeah.
Really?
Over years. Yeah, when I first moved to New York, I went in for it once and I did well, but didn't get that far. And then I went in for it again and got all the way to final callbacks for Serena. And then I went back in again right before the pandemic in 2019 and for like a US tour. And it got all the way down to 2 girls for Margot, me and another girl. They had like switched me from Serena to Margot. And I was like, oh my God, I'm getting this job. Like
Yeah.
there has never been anything more perfect for me. I love this so much. And they like extended the callbacks and had us come back later, and we did like a couple dance calls and we read together, and like me and the other girl, and she was great. And like there was nothing against her talent. She was great, but but I just like in that moment I was like, but this job is for me.
Yeah.
And I like nailed every single thing about it.
As you should.
We were just she and I just looked so different too, and we were giving very different interpretations
Right.
of it. Like my tour, like the tour I was on, we all were like nasty. They they would say I'm like nasty Margot. Like she just was a little crusty.
Yeah.
Like I was like rubbing my belly on stage. I was like you know, like
I love that.
yeah, I mean, I was like jumping and twerking in a split the whole time. Like I was giving crust for sure. And that wasn't their journey at the time in 2019. That they weren't ready for me just yet. And so I didn't get it. And I was devastated. When I tell you my parents had gotten me a pink luggage set because I was so sure I was getting this job.
Did
and
they still give it to you?
yeah, it was my birthday gift. It was
they still give it to you.
it was a gift, and I was like, this is really a bummer. This is a gift and I'm not using it because I didn't get the tour. And then when it came back around, like a year and a half ago or something, and the breakdowns went out and I got an appointment, I was like, if I don't get it this time, I'm legitimately quitting musical theater.
Yeah.
I'm actually like, I don't even know what I will do.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, there's just some things that you just feel like are so for you that I'm like, if this isn't for me, I don't know what is. Like genuinely, I mean that. But then I ended up, by the last day of callbacks, I was the only one, so we kind of knew. I mean, unless they ended up something didn't happen, but luckily nothing happened, and went on the tour, and it was the best time of my life, and sometimes the worst, but mostly the best.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the thing about tour. I feel like that no one talks about is like it's like life or death.
Yeah.
For the most part, it's like life and then like a couple of times death, but mostly life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
You're like,
life.
the good outweighs the bad.
Oh, yeah. For me, it did 100%.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really fun. I mean, I made the best friends that I've ever had. Like, you bond with people like you wouldn't believe, just living on a bus and staying in Best
Yeah.
Westerns. But
Oh my God.
I mean, and now it's fun that I have that TikTok to like look back on and watch
You
all the videos and stuff. but
Documented it for yourself. That's
Yeah.
really freaking cool.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was really fun.
Yeah. So along with Margot, you were also like the first cover for Elle Woods, right?
Yeah,
How was that?
shocking. I didn't know that I was going to be that track
Wow.
because I didn't ever sing any Elle material
Mm-hmm.
in the callbacks.
Oh my God.
They never had me sing it until rehearsals.
Mhm.
So I was like, how do they know that I can do this? Or like,
Yeah,
I
they
don't
put
even
a lot of faith.
I don't even know that I can do this. So I mean, I started working real hard once that contract came in, and I ended up going on quite a bit, which was crazy, like crazy to like not ever expect something to like work out that way. I just never expected it.
Wow.
And I feel like I opened my eyes to more possibilities than I knew that I had within me in a deeper kind of way, you know?
That's amazing. Okay. Which one did you like playing more?
Margot.
Okay. Period.
Duh.
I had a feeling you were going to say that.
Margot. There's something about Elle Woods. Like,
Yeah,
you're
of course.
right.
And it's different.
Yeah, but it's also like it was so much stress. It was like it was a lot of stress, and it was a lot of. I mean, there's no role like that. It's
No.
just it's everything, and you're dancing, you're singing. Like I was, and I was also like trying to remember where I was going.
Yeah, because you were like, I'm.
Yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
but it was fun in a different way. It's fun in like a challenging kind of way.
Would they give
Margot
you-
was not necessarily like challenging for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would they give you a lot of notice before you'd have to go on, or was it just like, hey, you're going on today?
Sometimes both. Like
Mhm.
it depended on the day, but I was really close with the girl who played Elle, and so usually I would have a heads up.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, okay. That's really great.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not like completely in the dark.
Yeah. Which sometimes that would happen. Like you never know on a tour. It could just people have COVID. You're out.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Was there anything that came as a surprise to you, or anything that you didn't expect throughout the tour?
I didn't expect to love sleeping on the bus.
Oh,
Oh my God, I love sleeping on the bus.
Really?
I'm not even kidding. Like the way that now I have to picture being on a moving bus to fall asleep at night because it lulls me to sleep. Like I felt like I was in the womb.
You're just
I was just like in the way, oh my God. It like those are the things that people talk about hating, and I just loved it.
You're like,
I loved it so
I want to
much.
be rocked to sleep every night.
I want to be in the back of a bus, curled up on like a little 2-seater. Like, yeah, I really loved that. But I also, on a more like serious note, I surprised myself with being able to pull off the L material and like feel confident in it, because I feel like I've really been leaning into being like the spunky funny girl for so long, that I haven't really had many opportunities to like push myself and my boundaries of where I'm super comfortable in my job of being a performer. And so it was really fun to like get to do that. And I definitely surprised myself.
Oh my God, that's incredible.
That's so cool. What a challenge. And like, that's so fun that you were like, yes, I did that.
Yeah.
After all that work.
Yeah.
I did it. So what are you working on now?
Okay, so now I'm in a production of A Christmas Carol, which is really special because I was in that production when I was so little.
Oh my God.
I played the littlest baby Fezziwig child, and I like danced on stage and smeared cupcakes on my face. And now I'm playing the mom Fezziwig, like Mrs.
Stop.
Fezziwig. So it's really crazy to get to go back and do that, and it's so fun. I love going back there. But then after that closes, just creating content.
Back to life, baby.
Back to life, back to audition season. You know how it goes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome though. And I love shows and like jobs that like come full circle like that for you. And you're
Right?
like, it's one of those feelings like this is definitely like meant for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. All right. To close out this section, as you heard us say at the beginning, this show is dedicated, for us, it's dedicated to past versions of ourselves, kind of like a survival guide type thing. Are there any lessons that you've learned, advice to your younger self, that now that you have, due to the hindsight, that you feel comfortable sharing with us?
Yeah, I actually thought about this one ahead of time. And I have a good one because it's something I say all the time, but I really believe it. And then I want to hear yours.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, mine is people always say that you have to be in the right place at the right time, but you're never going to be in the right place at the right time if you don't physically, actually, literally get yourself to the right place to be in the right place at the right time. Like,
I'm gagged.
If you don't get out of bed and show up at the audition, you're never going to be in the right place at the right time. If you don't drive yourself to that job interview, you're not going to be in the right place at the right time. Or if you don't go socialize or meet friends or go to that bar, go to that opening night, like it can apply to any job or like part of your life. But if you don't physically go to the place, you can't be in the right place at the right time. So get to the place. Just go. Like try. Get outside.
I love that. That also makes me think like moving to New York, right? Like that's such a like big thing, especially for people that are not from New York. It's like you got to get there, you got to do the thing. And like it's so hard because I feel like we watch people like say they're going to move here and then they don't ever move here and they're like, "Oh, it's like it just never worked out for me." But that's such an amazing way to think about it. Like being here is part of the battle. Like moving here is one thing. Going to the class, going to the audition. That's telling you that one's going on the
I needed to hear that. I needed to hear that. I'm like, damn, I need to get to the place.
It's so true though. It's so true. Like the amount of times that, I mean, if I didn't go to that open call because it was annoying, but like if I didn't go and show up and audition with 500 other girls, I wouldn't have gotten my first job in New York. Like if I didn't go on that date, I wouldn't have met my New Yorker boyfriend that embarrassing, really like. So,
you didn't hear that, okay?
No, don't share that.
Don't
with
listen.
anyone. Okay, what's yours?
Ooh, okay. For me, I think I really struggled with, me as a person, I'm very much a control freak and I like I'm very much like a planner. Like I like having control of situations, which I'm trying to get better at, but I am. And I think I would tell my past self, like, it does not matter. Like, whatever is meant for me, like, will not pass me by. Everything happens for a reason. Like, and there's going to be situations that I cannot control. And I can't let that, like, upset me. Like, I think back and I was just such an anxious child, like, literally my entire life. And now now that I'm an adult, I've, like, come to terms with, like, I can't control everything around me, and that is okay. And I think that's due to, one, the experience of like things not going my way, the amount of times that it has happened, but also thank you medication for saving my brain.
Period.
So, yeah. But yeah, just to like chill the fuck out and like everything's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
I think for me, it's just like you have to not care what other people think about you.
That's so hard though.
I know.
know.
That's something that I've struggled with my whole life, but it's just like and it really resonated with what you said, but it's just like if you're not like yourself, like how are you going to like book the right things? How are you going to meet the right people that actually like you for who you are? Like how are you going to
Yeah.
like if you're not yourself, you're not going to be happy in your life. And I feel like that's what I struggled with a lot, especially when I moved here. And now it's like, girl, you just got like, not everybody's gonna like you. Maybe that's the advice. It's like, no matter what you do, there's always gonna be somebody that doesn't
Always.
like you.
Yeah, so you might as
have
well
to
like not cater to
Exactly.
everyone. Don't try. Like
Yeah.
cater to the people who are gonna like the real version of
you.
Yeah.
And cater to yourself.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
Yeah.
Audie Daddy.
Let's start there.
Tell us, Jesse.
If you guys don't know, Jesse has a TikTok. We've referenced it a few times.
We have.
She is incredible, beautiful, gorgeous. We're obsessed with you.
We are.
But Audie Daddy, we need to start there. We need to start there.
He is also incredible and gorgeous.
Oh, I
Yeah,
followed him
like-
after your video. I was like, he's
How's
so
that
sexy.
relationship?
Are you
How's
kidding
the
me?
friendship? How's the
I mean, how weird is it that like happened and worked out that I met
I
him?
know. Thank you,
That
social
never
media.
happens. That never happens. And it like really worked. I mean, he's so nice and we have so many mutual friends. Okay, basically, for those who don't know, here's what happened. You can follow me online, JESSELYNNHARTE on TikTok.
Period.
And I saw a hit and run of a parked car of an Audi. And I just was like, oh no. No one's coming to help these people. I'm just going to get a video of it. I stood there for like so long trying to wait for someone to come by or like get a pen and paper. I called the police. No one answered. I called 911. They still didn't answer. What the heck is up with that?
That's a
another
problem.
story. But so I ended up just taking a video of it and posting it on TikTok and being like, if this is your car and the last part is daddy, I saw a hit and run of your car, contact me. And the next day, like friends of friends of friends had sent it to him.
Yeah, the video like blew up.
Yeah, it has like over 18 million views.
Yeah.
And he had gotten it. But the weird part is, I don't think I've even shared this online. The amount of people that have frauded me and tried to pretend to be the daddy.
The daddy.
Like, yeah, they are lying and people would try and scam me. And like, I mean, I would
for
get
what though? Like what do they
I
want
don't know.
from you?
I mean, I was getting doxxed on the internet. People were posting my phone number and my address.
No.
Yes, and so I was
Absolutely not.
I was getting calls of people being like, that's my Audi, or like, I work for Amazon, I was the one driving the truck, and I like,
Sure, you're
Why
gonna
do you want that
confess
role?
online.
yeah, I mean, I didn't
Like,
share the
okay.
entire license plate because I'm a genius, and so
Yeah.
I knew when the real guy talked to me, like he had the whole license plate and everything, and so it was obviously him. But I mean, people didn't know the real license plate, and they were legitimately trying to like lie to me, and I got hundreds of messages and calls.
That is
from different
bizarre.
people. Isn't that
Oh my
so weird?
God.
Yeah, I
Like,
never
wha-
shared that, but
Like what do they gain? I just don't understand, you know?
I have no idea. I really, to this day, I don't know. And then people would comment and be like, "I've been trying to call you," and I was like, "I know, I've been blocking you, sir.
Like I got it.
I
You're
got
not gonna
yeah,
call
like,
back.
Stop trying.
yeah, so weird." So I ended up helping him quite a bit and like talking to him for a while because the insurance was being a pain, and so I talked to a bunch of insurance people and gave them my statements and stuff. I was like, I feel like I'm on Law and Order right now, like. Yeah,
Doing your due
but
diligence.
Yeah.
he's literally like Broadway star.
Of course.
Like
he is.
he's a Broadway star. Did
Of
you know?
course.
Did you know that?
No.
No.
Oh my god, he is a Broadway star.
Yes.
Wait, I
Wait,
haven't
Daddy.
followed
Like-
him.
Yeah, he was the original Sven on Broadway.
Shut.
Yeah,
What the hell?
he's been in what the hell?
Frozen is my favorite movie.
yeah. Yeah, he's been in a ton of stuff, a ton. And he's extremely good and very friendly and very nice.
The fact that he was like a theater person too,
Yeah.
like it just goes back to like this community
Is so
too
small.
fucking
Small
Yeah.
world.
So
too
small. Yeah, people would be like, I had no idea that it was him. Like,
small.
like, yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
And Audi, would send me Audi sent me a hat that I really liked, and I was like, oh, slay. But then I have been getting other things from them. Like, I feel like the packages got separated. And so I've gotten some things in the mail. They sent me like a teddy bear. And the last time I got a package, like, it has a return slip on it, and they were checking off every time something's sent. And there's one thing left that has not been sent.
It's an Audi.
They send you a key.
Even
like,
better.
go find
Even
it.
better, you guys. It's a soccer ball.
You're kidding.
I'm
You're
so serious.
kidding.
What about me says that I want to play soccer?
They said
That
her a ball.
that is so telling that they didn't look at my.
At all.
They
They heard you
didn't-
say their brand and they said, get her a soccer ball.
They did not look at my TikTok once. Nothing about. I'm looking into it. Nothing about me is giving soccer.
Oh my God.
Send me an Audi.
anything else but
Send
the
me a
soccer ball.
car.
How did you get started on TikTok? And basically, how do you come up with like all your video ideas?
Okay, this is going to be a really easy question because there's no answer. I
Period.
have no thought process. I have no filter. There is nothing strategic about what's going on.
Gorgeous.
I am
Beautiful.
just, I'm posting what I think of that day. And
my
I just
God.
love to be a silly little goose.
You are a luminary. Like,
So-
genuinely, like,
Obsessed with you.
the
Yeah.
no thought process.
No thought process. I was waiting for her to be like, I have a calendar. I write out what I'm going to post this day. No.
She's like, no, I'm just funny.
Like, I just wake up and I'm funny.
That's the
Hello.
goal. That's the goal. Sometimes it flops, and that's fine because
Yeah.
I think that's I back to the life lessons and everything. Like, just post it. Just
Yeah.
post it because you got to do something. So
Yeah.
why care what people think?
True.
A lot of people don't like my content. A lot of people, I get so much hate. I just don't care.
The hate is insane.
It isn't. It's so insane, but like it's fun for me, so I just do it.
Yeah.
I just got started because I posted something funny one day about crying in New York.
And then you just kept doing it.
And then I just kept crying in New York. And I just will never stop.
I will never stop crying in New York. I
This
wish we
was-
had so much more time.
No,
with
I
you.
know. This was so special. So great. So,
Oh my
I'm like
God.
part 2, maybe.
No, literally, part two.
Sometime. So
I just love to chat.
yeah, you're a chatter. I
you
love
guys.
it.
I love your podcast. I
We are
started
too.
listening
Oh
once
my
you asked.
Oh, once you asked.
Yeah, I did.
I love you. Thank you.
Oh my God. So thank you so much for joining us today. It seriously
Yes.
means so, so much. So, Jesse, where can the people find you?
They can find me on any social media at Jesse Lynn Harte.
Period. You spelt it earlier.
Yeah.
Rewind. And then, Isa, what are we talking next week?
We are talking, am I lazy or do I need to slow down?
Period. That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
That's the question, and we'll be answering it.
If you want to keep up with us on social media, our @ is at notfromhere.podcast. That is NOTFROMHERE.PODCAST. And as always, I'm Riley Klauza.
I'm Isa Rodriguez.
And I'm Jesse Lynn.
And we are definitely not from here.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, that was cute.
That was so special. We did it.
We did it. Wow.